Assalamu alaikum. Hey guys, I'm Shafina and I'm here with the lovely Naseem, and we're here on this week's episode, Road to Happiness. Our topic is potential.
It is.
An interesting conversation today, so we thought let's go ahead and start with this topic. Naseem, what do you say about potential? What do you say? Is that something that we should look for in someone?
Yeah. So, assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to today's Road to Happiness. I'm actually quite excited about this topic. I've been thinking about it for a while, and it comes up in a lot in my conversations. And with Shafina saying what it is about potential. So when you're speaking to someone and you're thinking, right, it's got potential, let's give it a shot. It's got potential.
Yeah, why not, right?
It's got potential.
Yeah. So that's perfect. Great.
And then when you speak some more and it's still only sitting at potential, it's not growing in any direction, and you haven't understood where this person's going in life, and you think, potentially he could be here or potentially she could be there, then you have, unfortunately, with the stats and the research we've done,
Potential's not good?
No. 70% of people that marry for potential, unfortunately, don't stay together.
Could you repeat that one more time?
So 70% of people who marry for potential, unfortunately, don't make it. They don't stay together. What's your thoughts on potential?
It's shocking to hear that statistic, to be honest. And, potential was probably something that I thought was a thing, it's a good thing. But now in the state of mind that I'm in and my journey in my life, no. Potential's great. I think if you're very young, like you're going to school or your early 20s or something, then you're like, obviously you're still building your life, you're going to university, if you are or not, things have changed. However, potential right now is not a thing. I think the person should be established.
But even back then, you can see, let's say for example, you do marry young, and I think marrying young is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's good if you find someone.
If you find somebody, then it's not a bad thing. But the basically the person that you're speaking to needs to show you that actually, from the time you met to where we are now, what you thought was potential, I've actually put it into practice. So there's a pattern. But if it's been potential from the get-go to the wedding day, and you've been basing all on potential, then that's a huge risk.
Okay, so basically potential is not a good thing. I feel like, to be honest, I speak to a lot of people, and I have seen some people in sort of relationships, I'm going to speak in the real world here, and they are waiting for this person to be a certain way, become a certain way, and for them to finally ask them to marry them or things like that. And I feel like, obviously being on the outside, you can see it a lot more clearer, and you're just kind of like, just get out of it, save yourself now. They're like, no, we've been together for 4 years, and I'm like, okay, but there's no ring, nothing's happened, get yourself out of it. And I guess in that way they're sort of thinking about the potential life that they can have with the person. And I feel like the fact is that if they haven't acted upon it now already, or made that choice or decision,
but credit where credit's due. So I'm sure you've seen some people post on social media, you might have seen it in a movie, where he's down on one knee proposing and she's like, no way. Do you understand? So then it's all a big hoo-ha because he proposed and she said no, but she's realizing that this person is only potential. This person hasn't proven to me that he'll take care of me, he's going to take care of our family, he's got the maturity to be in this relationship, and he's already somewhat there, as opposed to just completely being potential. So whoever she is, when you see that rejection, because nobody wants to say no to somebody proposing to them, right?
No, that's not nice. No.
So whoever's had that train of thought has realized that actually this person is not ready to look after me yet. And they're far away from what I need. And it's a hard one, because obviously it's usually in a public place, everybody's watching, and it's a thing, or it might be a surprise, and he's not expecting
the thing is,
it.
I never actually thought of it that way, that the person could be doing that. I just thought maybe she doesn't love him enough or something like that. I know we're going a bit of a different topic, but maybe she's thinking, oh, I'm with this person, but actually no, they're not the person that I can see as being that provider and protector, and so then she's like, no. Interesting.
Yeah.
I
So I
didn't
mean,
think
they
about
could
it
have
that way
been
before.
getting to know each other for a while,
Yeah.
and in his mind, obviously, he's thinking this is going somewhere good.
Right.
You know, and she's hoping it's going somewhere good. So either he's proposed too early and he's still at the very early potential stage, or she's been with him long enough to know that this isn't moving. So if you're out there and you're thinking, talking to this guy, I've spoken to him for 7 months, 9 months, whole year, 2 years, and we're still where we were when we started out the relationship in terms of goals and dreams of where you want to be. We're not necessarily talking finance here, talking emotional maturity, family communication, outlook, habits, maturely dealing with things. So if you're feeling that all of that's not growing, if you are being proposed to, you're going to realize that actually I don't see this. If you've managed to grasp that you can see that this is not moving forward.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And yeah, I guess they only realize when they're at that point of being asked, and you're like, oh, hold on. Now I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes the people are trapped in sort of relationships and they keep going forward with it because they're stuck in there and they're not sure how to be, let them go.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
And then it comes to the point where they're at that point, then they're just like, no.
Yeah.
But there's some people that will actually keep going ahead. I guess they feel bad or something. You know,
they'll maybe try and give a chance, and they've obviously caught some feelings. They may be emotionally connected, and they're thinking, let's give it more time. Because I'm pretty sure whoever's been having these conversations has said, right, so in 6 months we want to be here, and in 9 months we want. If you're actually sitting down together planning a life, you're not just going to say, right, okay, let's plan a wedding. It's going to be, let's plan our life. Does that make sense? And where do we want to be? And obviously earlier on we were discussing that you know, if you want to be, again, off topic slightly, but if you want to be somewhere in life, and, you know, for example, you want your children to go to private school maybe, or you want to live in it, and there's nothing wrong with it, even Islamically, if you want to live in a bigger house or you want to do something else, then obviously 2 salaries is better than 1, yeah? And then it's a case of, you know, how much responsibility do you take, and how come, because different people are going to be thinking differently about it. Some people say, actually, I don't mind chipping in, I don't mind putting in half. And then I think as mature, because the people that have been coaching for 4 or 5 years, they're very much, the trust has been built. They're very much like, okay, we've got a goal, we need this much deposit, we want to move into this type of house. And there's that full openness, transparency. You know, and they've pulled their money together and they're like getting to their goals, so they've got their deposit to do what they want to do. Maybe they're living in the city and they want to move out to the suburbs or whatever it is, but by then they've got that level of trust. And when you're, especially if you're Muslim, you don't live together, you don't have that communication. So, you know, your first year, you're just getting to know, and maybe you don't know this person's financial habits, emotional habits. And yeah, when you're dating, you can date someone for 5 years. You still don't know them.
You still don't know them. I don't think you ever truly know anyone very well, because we're still trying to figure out ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and we're constantly growing and changing, evolving as people. I don't think I'm the same person I was 6 months ago. That I know for sure. When you're constantly growing and evolving. So I feel like either way it's a gamble. Potential's not a thing to go on. Actions are louder than words. I think we may have spoken about this before. And I think obviously you have potential of how people are going to be if they're a lot younger, but there comes a point where you're like, okay, I need to see. And you know, like you mentioned, sometimes people have potential, but they've met each other and they're like, okay, I've got like a year to now push myself past this potential and into the actual thing of it, whichever way direction they're going. And if they have moved forward on that, then you can see, okay, that potential is now becoming a reality. And you know, in 1 year they've done this, so that they're going to push again even more. So that's what you need to look out for, right?
Yeah,
I'm learning.
And the habits that you're, what you want out of life. Like earlier on, I was talking about that if you are sitting down with someone and you're thinking marriage, you're thinking, right, what does your marriage look like? Everyone's just, it is, unfortunately. You know, when I do some of these coaching calls and it's getting close to engagement, everyone's like, oh, what's the dress going to be, or what's the venue going to be, or what's the flowers going to be.
We spoke about this before. Yeah,
and it really is about actually where we're going to live, What do we want to do? What job do you want to be working on? Where do you want to be with your health and fitness? You know, where are we, like, you know, when it comes to children? Where are we? How do we want to raise them? Where are we with, like, taking care of each other's families? Where are we on so many different levels? And if those questions are not coming up naturally and you're not thinking about them, then you're actually thinking, well, this is just going to fall into place. And then again, it goes back.
Wishful thinking potential.
Wishful thinking potential.
And you're not really, you're doing yourself a disservice as well, to yourself and to them.
Yeah.
Because you're both killing each other. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
you're both ignoring the whole main point of everything. There are tough questions to have, but they need to be had. Otherwise, you end up in a mess later on and falling for potential. 70% of it doesn't work out.
Yeah. You could have the 30%. Let's talk about the other side.
Okay, tell me.
So you've got your 30% with love and encouragement and understanding and setting many goals and think, right, okay, I'm in it now. I'm married now. What can I do to move this along?
Okay.
And I, you know, and I was thinking about earlier on my drive from Glasgow. So we're in Leeds today.
In Leeds.
So my drive from Glasgow, I was thinking, you know, we are where we want to be, but you actually have to aim for it. So, you know, thinking about lots of things of where Allah SWT has put me today in terms of my life, what I've wanted to achieve, and Allah does give me way beyond what I ever thought I would imagine that my life would position I would be in, with my work and my personal life and just, you know, in achievements. And you don't get that unless Allah Ta'ala wants that for you. And I think purposely been attending courses, learning, having knowledge, building a team around me of people who I believe in, they believe in me, and we take that strength from each other. Like you and I spend a lot of time with each other as well. So I think that when you have these eureka moments and you understand that in that potential, if you're looking at potential from that perspective, you put yourself in that situation and things will happen. Like you know, you were talking about manifest earlier on. Like if you have it in your heart, you think, right, I'm going to do this. What's your thoughts on that? Sorry.
With what you're going to put into your sort of mindset and have that, I for sure, I believe that if you want to say and do something, then definitely act on that and make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually I had done a reel. I shared a reel, you know, one of those audios. And it was like, you know, if you don't like who you are, change who you are. If you don't like your friends, change your friends. If you don't like where you live, you know, it was literally one of those things. And it's something that I sort of implemented in my own life where I wasn't happy where I was, you know, a year ago. And I thought, okay, in order for me to move forward, I need to make some serious changes or make some serious decisions. And I did just that. And I changed my circle of friends. I changed my environment, changed all these things. And now, like today, we met amazing people. Mashallah, alhamdulillah, you know,
it was a really good day,
really good day, really blessed, and like we're glowing, I think, from that energy that we picked up from the circle. And had I not made those changes, had we not made certain changes, and you know, that connection wouldn't have happened, the other podcast that we were on wouldn't have happened, and the family that we met wouldn't have happened, you know, the circle. And we were talking about this as well, you know, in order for things to change, I think I spoke about it in my podcast that I had, my interview, in order for things to change, we've got to change, I've got to change. And so it does have a huge difference if you want to sort of level up your life. You can level up in every single area. You know, you get those kind of charts where it's 0 to 10. Have you seen them? The wheel, you know? And, you know, you have different areas. Your finances, you got like spiritual, you have, you know, romantic life, or, you know, like whatever, you know, don't keep it halal, but you know what I mean? In that wheel, it's all there. And it's just like, and finances, I think, is another thing, and lifestyle, health is another topic. And it's like, okay, what can I do each time? How am I feeling about it on a scale of 1 to 10 each month? What am I doing? And you know, and sometimes all those areas might be 1s or 2s or 3s, and you're like, okay, I definitely need to work on that. And it's about gradually making those changes. And now if I look at that, I think I need to do that wheel tonight. Let's do that tonight. And I'm going to evaluate my life. I haven't done it in a good 6 months, to be honest. I used to do it monthly.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And we were talking about that 1% change, wasn't it? We were talking about
yes. So the whole example is like, if you just make that 1% change, it's like there was an example of a plane. If a plane's going in this direction, or you know, whatever, like this, and you change it to 1 degree, that 1 degree looks like nothing. But if you do it like 10,000 miles, it's going to be totally off target from where it was initially heading. And that's just an example of sort of metaphorically that you can use in your own life, that if you just change that tiny little bit, or, you know, change that morning cup of hot chocolate to a green tea or something, that over a long period of time will make a huge difference, which leads into the whole compound effect and Darren Hardy, which is another story altogether. But the main thing is that there's only certain small changes that you can make that make such a big difference down the line. Speaking from experience within my own life, say the last 6 months, so much has changed, and alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. But it's just those things that you make changes. And I think going back to the main thing is the whole potential. We do that sometimes.
Full circle, back to potential.
Back to potential. Back to
so it'd be really interesting if you're watching, you maybe give us some comments on, like, maybe potentially you've getting to know somebody right now, or potential in the past you've thought, right, let me see, this has potential, let me see where it goes. What's been your thought process? You know, what's been your thought process thinking, right, I'm going to give this guy a chance? What's been the underlying current to think, right, okay, what potentially this could work, but what is exactly potential for you, because there's different things for different people. And if you can move the wheel, as Shaf is saying, move the wheel even slightly, even 1%, and you see, right, okay, from the day I met you to now, it's been like a whole year or whatever, I can see changes. You know, I can see, like, for example, potential when we met, you know, I had a lot of things to do with my fitness and my health, and, like, you know, you, like, I'm not gonna say screaming down the phone at me at all.
I don't do that.
She doesn't do
like,
that. She doesn't.
Hey.
But apart from the time when you came to stay and you put my trainers at the front door,
I was like, what are you doing? Why have you turned the TV on? She's like, oh. And I was like, yeah, we don't have time for TV. Let's go to the gym. Come on.
So mashallah, I'm so glad. And it's now, actually, I miss it if I don't go. And I love you for, like, putting that into, like, my routine. You know, and I see, like, so much potential in myself to get to it. But
you're taking action on that.
I'm taking action. So basically, because I've taken action, I've got myself to, like, almost 3/4 there. I've got, like, my one last quarter to go. And potentially I could have done nothing, you know, so we're going back to potential. But because, you know, again, having people in your life, whether it's somebody emotionally helping you, mentally helping you, physically helping you, but you can draw on that person's energy, you know. And I would sit there and think, what would Shaf say? She'd say, get your butt in the gym right now. You know, like, sitting there going, okay. So I'd be sitting there going for my juice, and I'm like, no, protein shake, let's go for the protein shake. So it's even, you know, like, even wanting to make those better choices,
it's good.
It's good, because doing that, potentially thinking about it, and then actually implementing it, you know, mashallah, like, it's had a huge benefit to my health. It's had a huge benefit to my life. And, you know, I had blood tests the other day, I was telling you this morning.
Yes.
Clean bill of health. So, like, with God's blessing. So, like, what else could we ask for? So, but yeah, that's all about implementing and making the
potential.
Yeah, putting the potential into practice. What about that? Putting the potential into practice.
Well, definitely. I was just going to say, if anyone's watching and they're thinking about someone with the potential of possibly being a certain way, and if you notice it taking the action, then of course, then that's a good thing to, I suppose, go for, right? Yeah. I guess, put the, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. So putting potential on someone that is the same. The needle has not moved at all in a month, in 2 months, in 6 months.
Right.
You're still thinking, okay, potentially he could change, or
and you're still waiting for that potential to get started.
Yeah. The potential hasn't started. The potential is
there.
There.
If the potential's still there, 1 month, I'm speaking over 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months down the line, and it hasn't moved, that needle of potential hasn't moved into the action side, then, you know, maybe just watch out for that. However, if it's moving, then you're like, okay, that potential is now starting to become reality. That's the main thing. So we're not knocking potential completely.
Totally. And I think if the potential is moving, then you've definitely got a basis to stick around and see what's next. You know, that without making a decision, you can still be observing, because it's your needle's moving in the right direction.
There we go. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. So I guess we'll see them next week on the.
Yes, we will. Next time round.
See you in the next episode.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to this podcast. If you found this beneficial, give this video a like and hit the subscribe button to be notified for the next episode.